not much else I can do here anyway. So
I'm going to have to turn.
turn the volume on.
Yeah,
There you
if I
go.
can get it there. Because if it's working, it doesn't need to be at 100%. Why don't you turn yours on and see if you can hear me?
All right.
If you can, send me a message.
Okay. Okay. We'll try this again.
You hear me? Yay! Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you very much. Oh, we don't know what happened. Thank you, WeTree, for telling me to reboot. It's rebooted, and I chose my fancy little microphone that Dave loaned me. So we'll give it a try. Yay! Hi, B lady. You're up pretty soon. I'm sorry we don't get to do as much as I had hoped, but I'm so glad to see everyone here. Oh, so good. Mike, hi. Thank you for coming. I hadn't seen you. Let's see who all is here. We've got Lisa Johnson here, Bandana Grandma, Celtic Bear, Lena Music, the Bee Lady, Mike, Casey. Oh, thank you, Casey. And NYC Homesteader. Beach Family's here. Oh, thank you so much for coming back again. This has been as trying a day as it has been a trying week for me. Hence the name of the live stream, The Seasons of Life. Um, um, how to start this? This has been a very, very difficult past 2 weeks for me. Um, I had a dear friend who passed away. He left everything. He had no family. He had no wife. He left everything to my best friend, and she and I have been trying to close out his estate, which has been a huge amount of work and time. Then last Saturday, not yesterday, but a week ago, my mom went into the hospital, and she's been in the hospital since then. And first they thought she was having a heart attack. Then they thought something else was wrong. And she'd been in and out and up and down for so many different things. They finally decided, she's still there. And they finally decided that she has an imbalance in her potassium. And it has been, I spent a lot of time cleaning at somebody else's house and spending time in the hospital with my mom. So it's been crazy, and it's gotten me thinking about the seasons of life. Um, most everybody goes through multiple seasons in their lives. Likening it to the garden, we got the spring season, which is when you're born, your childhood, growing up, learning all the things, just like the seeds that come up in the springtime that grow, turn into a plant. Then we have summer. Summer is when our plants make their fruit. They look beautiful usually, unless they're gotten by bugs and things, all kinds of other things. In the human life, I think of summer as the marriage, family, and career time. That's when you're getting married, you're having a family, you're building your career, you're working to gather the things that you want in your life. Then comes the autumn or fall. Autumn or fall for the plant world is when the harvest comes and when the plants start dying off. Um, in human terms, I think of fall as the empty nest. If you had children, the children are growing and going away. Usually you've reached the pinnacle of your career and things are going crazy. Let's see. B Lady says, next person living your best life is at 3. Oh, does that 3? Oh, that's 3 your time. Yes, I know. It's 2 o'clock mine. Thank you. Hi, Haffy. Thank you. I'm glad to have gotten it fixed too. And thanks again to Dave, who figured out what was wrong with he and WeTree and got it fixed. It's wonderful. Finally is winter. The winter, um, that's the season of life that I feel like I'm in right now. In winter, the plant life is dying or has died. It's resting. It's not growing or working or anything like that. And that's kind of where we are, or where I am. In the human world, winter, I think of as a time when your family and friends start passing, when you yourself, if you live long enough, start experiencing what I call diminished capacity. Um, it's when you start downsizing. You don't have the energy or the time to keep up what we had before. So that's the four seasons of life. And like I said, for me, I'm in the winter of my life. I'm going to be 70 at the end of this month. And I know when I was a young woman, 70 seemed like just a tremendously old age, but now it doesn't seem so old anymore. Let's see. Stacy, you did not receive a single notice. Stacy, I'm sorry you didn't. We had to go through, 3 iterations to get sound. B Lady, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that very much. Casey, lots of prayers from New Zealand. Thank you. You don't know how much those prayers mean to us. I tell my mom every day, all the people that say they're praying for her, it is helping. Why, thank you, NYC Homesteader. She says, I don't look 70. I don't feel 70 most days. Now, some days I do, but not most days. Well, hi, Liz. It's good to see you here. I'm glad you got here. I've been missing you, Miss Liz. Oh, Tracy, you're here from Belgium. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. My little bit of peace from Central Scotland. I'm glad you came too. It really is sweet. B Lady says, what face cream do I use? It's called water and soap, and that's it. My mom is 90, and people tell me all the time she doesn't even look 70. So I think really it's good genes. I don't know. I just started getting some wrinkles here and a few crow's feet and that kind of stuff. So it's got to be good genes. Grammy Karen says, hi, good afternoon. Goodness. Just me in South Carolina. Hi, I'm glad to meet you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for keeping us in your prayers, too. We really need that. It is great. Back at Blake's. Oh, okay. We've got a lot of folks in here. This is amazing. Kay Late Rumor makes a note of all the countries her viewers are from. I've been thinking about that, Casey. I think that's a really good idea, and I can go back and review the chat and write those down because it's really important. I've had people from South America, from Africa, from all over Europe, from the Middle East, and of course from all over North America. So a lot of folks out there, and they're really special people. Bandana Grandma says she'll be 70 next June. Very good. Yeah, in your mind, you might be 54. So I tell people all the time I still feel 17. So, and my children, my daughters, used to introduce me as the world's oldest living 17-year-old. So I guess there was something to that. But yeah, you don't feel. But then again, what does 70 feel like? I mean, really, what does it look like? What does it feel like? 70 isn't what it used to be when we were kids. That much I can tell you. Thank you, Stacy. Everybody, put your thumbs up, please. Howie made it. Hi, Howie. It's good to see you. We have quite a group here. I need a world map. That's not a bad idea, Weetree. I might get one and frame it and hang it where it can be seen with the camera when I'm on these live chats, and put a flag up for everybody that comes on. That's not a bad idea. I'll have to take the shelves down that are behind my screen there in order to do it. Or maybe I can hang it from the screen. Good idea. Let's see. David says if we could adjust our ages to not keep track of us. Oh, adjust the ages, yes. Okay, B Lady, you have a question. If my children launch from home later than they should have, and I begin my time zones out of whack, what happens? You get to be young longer? I really don't know. I had my kids a little later in life. I had my first one at 27 and my second one at 29. So I started a little later than most people in my generation. So I guess that has kept me a lot younger. Get a map that rolls up. I can't hang things from these ceilings. They're not strong enough. So it'll have to be something that maybe I could attach to the screen. That's the best I can think of. I don't know what else to do. Mama's in the garden is here. Hi, Mama. Lisa, you had a daughter at 37. You know, my next to the youngest sister had her last daughter in her 40s. So I really wasn't as late as some people, but still, people my generation, for the most part, had their kids by the time they were in their mid 20s. And I was just starting when everybody else was stopping. So I don't know. Ah, Christy, it's good to see you. Hi, and Backyard Gardening's here too. It's good to see you. Oh, boy, we've got some wonderful folks showing up here tonight. Let's see. Are we all out of whack? I think the world's out of whack, B lady. I think everybody's out of whack. Yeah, Liz had hers at 21 and 26. I know a lot of the kids that I went to high school with, I didn't go to college, but I went to high school, and a lot of them had their kids like 3 or 4 years out of high school. They started having kids in their early 20s. So, hello, Mary Plyford. It's good to see you. Who else is here? Goodness, Celtic Bear. My mom had me in 1970, my kid sister 20 years. But that's quite a spread, Celtic Bear. That's two families. That's not just siblings. That's amazing. But you know, Dave's brother is considerably older than he is too, so it's not all that uncommon, but it is a large split. Amazing. Well, I really all I had to talk about was the seasons of life and how I feel about them. Do any of you, where are you guys in the seasons of life? Are you in your spring, your summer, your autumn or fall, or your winter? I'd love to know where you are. I told you where I am. I'm in my winter. Oh, Dave says, Celtic Bear, my daughter was born in 1970. Good job making me feel old. Ah, had Bandana Grandma had her 7 kids early. The first one, she was 20. Let me go see. I lost it. There we go. Had the first one, she was 20, but they had their kids late too. So I became a grandmother late at 52. My best girlfriend, who is 2 years younger than I am, is a great grandma. So it amazes me. Youngest, oh, my little bit of peace, youngest is 10. Yep. I remember those days. Mm-mm-mm. Celtic Bear, you're just about to turn 50? My, you're a youngster. Grammy Karen says, I think I'm in late fall, approaching winter. Be 60 on Tuesday. Well, happy birthday, Grammy Karen. I understand the late fall and early winter. That's where I think I am, too. Beach Family says 43 years old, so reckon summer. Christy Bettis, whoops, it keeps flipping up and I lose people. Where'd you go, Christy? I've lost you. Lynn White, 70. Very good, Lynn. Mary, you're in Australia. 3 more weeks to spring. Bandana Grandma, there are 17 years between firstborn and the lastborn of 7. Bandana Grandma, my hat's off to you. I wanted 12 when I started, but I only got to have 2 because I got cancer after the second one, but my 2 were enough. It was something else. Surgeries have all of these new B Lady's had all kinds of surgeries. She's the bionic woman now. I know the feeling, so am I. Let's see. Dave said at Howell, I felt pretty darn good. That's when he and I first met, when he was 50 and I was 47. Food Forest says he's king of the sandbox when the grandkids show up. Howie, you're king of the sandbox whether the kids are there or not. You will always be a young kid, in my mind anyway, and maybe in yours as well. Let's see. Bandana Grandma, my mother was like that and had my youngest when I went off to college. Oh, wow. That's quite a spread, too. Mama's in the Garden is 38 and she thinks she's an autumn. Okay. I didn't start feeling middle aged until I was in my 50s. I just, there was so much going on. I never felt that until I got into my 50s. So, hmm. B Lady says, I can get on the soapbox, can't I? Sure, get on the soapbox, B Lady. Let's hear what you have to say. One was enough for you. You grew up with 11 kids. I grew up as the oldest of four. My best girlfriend when I was a child was a middle child at 13. And I always thought that a big family would be an awesome idea because all the older kids were helping all the younger kids. But two was enough. Two was perfect for me, and I liked it, so I can't complain. Let's see. Mary Plyford must have been an interesting home. Yes, I agree. Let's see. Backyard garden. My little bit of peace. Hello. Okay. Talking to yourself. You didn't start feeling like you were losing it, Lisa, until you hit 60? I can't say that I feel like I'm losing it yet. I get tired a lot more. I don't have the stamina that I used to, but I'm not sure if that's being 70 or having lived through cancer twice and gastric bypass surgery. I'm not sure what it is. Let's see. It says, do I think it's only money why folks these days no longer have large families? No, B Lady, I don't think it's only money, although I do think that's a big part of it. But I think part of it is also, I think, at least in our society here in the US, we have gotten more selfish. And by selfish, I mean we don't want to take the time it takes and put out the effort it takes to raise a large family, because that is a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of time. Allie Oakley, you just got here. Hi, I'm glad you made it back. Anyway, yes, money has something to do with it. It's very hard to afford all of those children, although there are still people who do it. But like I said, I think more than anything else, people are becoming more selfish of their time. Let's see. B says, I'm thinking they remember what they put us baby boomers through and say no. Yeah, that could be it too. That could definitely be it. Howie says, being over 50 now, I don't give any concern at all. I'm living life to the fullest. Living life to the fullest is a really good idea, whether you're 15 or 50 or 100. I really do. Like I said, mom is 90. She turned 90 last April, and she does her best to live life to the fullest. So all I can say is it works. We just got to keep it. Haffy's granddad was one of 13. They grew up on a 600-acre homestead in Maine. I think that's something else too that has something to do with it. Rural families tended to have more children. I think part of it's because of helping around the homestead, and part of it um, they could raise a lot of their own food. They had room. You can't raise 12 kids in a little tiny apartment very easily. So I don't know. I don't know, but I would think a lot of kids is something. Let's see. Grammy says, I think you hit the nail on the head. We have a large society of me first and the cost of living, no doubt. I agree. I think that has made a huge difference in not just the size of families, but families. Um, I don't know how to say this without sounding tacky, but the me first attitude has disrupted marriages and lives and children. You can't have a big family and have a me first attitude. It just doesn't work. Mama's in the Garden says, my grandfather was the youngest and only boy. His eldest sister was in her 20s when he was born. His mother said, I always wanted a lad, and when I got him, I was too old to enjoy him. Aw, that's sweet. Ah, B Lady says, I can't believe all of the bells and whistles our children have for their children. Only one each. Yeah, I I tell people all the time, I grew up in a time where we could ride in the back of a pickup truck. We stayed out until dark. We didn't have phones in our pockets or electronic games in our pockets. We rode bikes. We used our imagination, and I lived through it all. The kids nowadays don't have that anymore. But I also had two parents at home. My mom was a stay-at-home mother. My dad went out and made the work. So I think our society in general has made the difference in families and family sizes both. Let's see, what else have we got? Sorry about this. I'm trying to quickly catch up on the chat. Hey, Pine City Apiary is here. Hi, it's good to see you. And Grandpa's Farm rides again. How are you too? Got some folks here I haven't met before, or at least haven't seen on my stream before. Maybe you can offer good. Oh, yeah. So we have a lot of folks here, but we don't have any springs. And I haven't seen anyone say they were in summer. So apparently we're all a little older than that now. Beach Family says, my wife and I have been married 20 years. We made a pledge not to get divorced and we're sticking to it. Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad to hear it. If you can make a marriage work, all the better. B Lady says, my father's still alive, doing well at 94, drinks beer every day. My mom would drink beer or alcohol of some sort every day, except she's allergic to it. So, and she found out the hard way. It made her really sick, so she doesn't drink it at all anymore. Grandpa's Farm, you're 60. Grandpa's Farm, you're still just a youngster. Let's see. Beach Family is 43. Mary Playford's folks had 13 kids. My goodness gracious. And she said they're market growers, so extra hands help. You know, I think that's true. The rural families do need the extra hands, and you just can't hire them like that. Casey, I guess I'm in summer or maybe spring. University student here, very young, might shock you with my age. You probably would, because, well, I don't know. I tend not to judge people as to an age. I think of everybody as being the same age. So you might shock me just because I didn't know anybody that young would follow me. So that's the biggest thing. Yeah, go ahead, shock us. Hi, Kilted Garden. Nice to see you. Grammy, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. We're getting on towards the end of this anyway, even though it's so slow to get started. Second time around. See, you're not all that young. You're not old either. Happy says a great grandmother used to put up over 600 to 800 quarts of fruit and veggies every year. You know, speaking of that, I have been really busy this year canning again. My two pear trees have had the first decent harvest since we moved out here almost 7 years ago. I got 50 some pounds off of it the first harvest. I went out this morning and harvested again and got 65 pounds of pears today. So I'm going to be really busy canning pears. And speaking of canning and videos, I'm also going to be making a video this week on canning meat. I've got 15 pounds of hamburger meat that I need to do something with, so I'm going to can some of it. B-Lady's pears are coming in too. Good for you. 19 years old. Very good. I'm amazed. I really am amazed you're following me. That is awesome. I love it. I really love it. Thank you so much, Casey. You know, for a long time, I used to sing karaoke. Yeah, I was one of those. But most of the people that sang karaoke with me were 20 years younger than me or more. And I got along beautifully with them, and we had a wonderful time. So your being 19 is not all that crazy. It just amazes me that you want to follow someone that does what I do. I'm really glad you do. Thank you. B-Lady says, I sometimes combine them with apples for applesauce. I got a bunch of apples this week, and I'll probably be doing that, but I have fallen in love with pear butter. I make it just like applesauce, only I use pears. I cook it down a little bit thicker, and I even use the same spices, and it's wonderful, especially with pork. Let's see. Lisa says, when pears ripen, they all come in together. Yes, that is true. And I look forward to it because they're my trees and they're the first trees I've ever had that actually gives me something I can harvest. It's lovely. Christy says a lot of unhappy people, flat out scary around this hospital when I'm with something that went past too fast. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, a few days ago, I put up 18 pints of pears and 4 pounds of pear butter. And yesterday, I put up another 7 pints of pears and I gave away a bunch of the pears. And now I've got 65 more pounds of pears to do something with. So it's going to be crazy. It really is. Let's see. I can't remember if I found Kate on Bandanagram. Probably Bandanagram, but I don't know for sure. Well, I'm really glad that you found me, Casey, and I'm really glad you came. She's gone country. Hi, I'm glad to see you here. Randy Leonard, you're putting up tomatoes. You know, I got some tomatoes given to me. My tomatoes, I had a bunch of tomato plants. I did not get a single tomato. But a neighbor of mine had more than she knew what to do with, and she brought me about half a bushel. So I got to put up a few pints of tomatoes and tomato sauce. And I love tomatoes. You have a silly question. How do I use apple or pear butter? Mary, what I do with apple butter is Dave and I love pork chops, and I usually put a rub on them and bake them in the oven, and then I serve the pear butter in a little bowl on the side of the plate that you can dip in. Um, Apple butter is the same. I also can use them on biscuits in the morning. Um, I have been known to make, oh goodness, I bake a sweet roll or a sweet bread and put that in it. Can't think of any other ways I use it. I usually use it on pork because I just love pork with the pear butter. Let's see. Apple butter is great on. Do you know Grandpa's Farm? I'd never thought about putting it on ice cream. I guess mostly because I don't eat ice cream, but Dave does and other people do. Maybe I should think about that. That's a good idea. Mary, what kind of canning do you do? Do you do pressure or only water bath? I got so involved with pressure canning, I now have 2 pressure cans. Apple butter and cake is awesome. You know, I've been told you can use apple butter instead of oils in a lot of your baking products, and I've been thinking about maybe doing that. Water bath, very good. What kinds of things are you canning? Bee Lady says apple butter makes baked goods moist. That's a good idea. Good. Mary, you'll love pressure canning. I really enjoy it. Do I make pickled peaches? You know, I only have 2 peach trees and they're very young. I don't get enough peaches to do anything with except eat them and enjoy the flavor. So I know I don't make them yet. Mary, those are good things to start with. I'm glad you're doing them. I'm glad you keep growing. Be careful. Read the books and things online from the USDA to be sure you've gotten the quote unquote approved methods, but do your own research. The chap who takes care of my bees in from South, yes, that is correct. Mr. Mark does. He is from South Africa. And now you live in New Zealand. Oh, very good. I know, Mama. I wish that there was some way we could get a pressure canner to you because it sure makes a difference on what you can do. Christy Bettis says a lot of people eat apple pie with ice cream, so I can eat apple butter. You know, I like apple pie with cheddar cheese when it's hot. I think that is wonderful. You got a Presto? I have an All American and a Presto. I don't know that much about the Presto because it's just a weighted canner. It has no gauge, and I like having the gauge so I can watch the pressure, but I'm trying to learn to use it too. Mary, a lot of people say pressure canning is scary. The things that you used to hear about pressure canning being bad and then blowing up and stuff like that, that's something you don't have to worry about anymore. If you follow the instructions that the manufacturer gives you, they're really very safe. And they have a lot of things built in to make them safe. So please don't get afraid. Keep trying. It's good. Bee Lady, same for you. Don't be afraid. Try it. Let's see. Make some cucumber melon goat milk soap. Oh, that sounds wonderful, Grandpa's farm. Cucumber melon goat milk soap. Boy, that sounds really cool. You've done some of my recipes, Mary. Why, thank you. That is great. What's my time going? Okay. We have 8 minutes. I don't want to run over on the next person. I think the next person is the next person, Bee Lady. Is that you? Are you next up in the group? Let's see. Mama's in the garden. Okay, let's see. Grandpa's, yeah. I've gotten lost in the chat again. Mary, I did the grape juice jam and the frozen berries recently. Oh, those are both really good. And you know, you can use strawberries the same way. Bee Lady, you're no longer in, you're way too busy to do it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, folks, I can't give you a link to the next one because I thought it was the Bee Ladies and I had a link ready to go for hers. So I'm really sorry. Let's see. Dave said pressure cookers are not good for pressure canning. Not only is the pressure higher, but it also is more constant. The pressure cookers can go up and down and vary just enough to make them not work right. So thank you, Bee Lady. I appreciate it. I prefer a pressure canner. I really do. Hi, Spring Garden One. It's nice to see you. Now, She's Gone Country Farms. You said you made some homemade sauce for spaghetti. Did you can it? Or did you cook it on the stove and you're going to eat it? I like, let's see, Spring Garden One. I'm glad to see you're here. Pressure canners are much heavier duty. Yes, that is true. My All-American canner is so heavy, it's hard for me to pick up. It really is. Kilted, not only do you love food, but you grow some food too. Is Bo there today? Is he awake or is he snoozing? I can't believe. Bo is Kilted Gardener's son, who is 9 months old now. He's just precious. Snoozing, okay. Well, good. He is just precious. Let's see, Roberta Driver. I cheat with my spaghetti sauce. I freeze it. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, he's the same age as your Jeffrey. I know you love babysitting that Jeffrey. You know, Roberta, before I learned about canning, I used to freeze mine too. So that's not cheating. I have some rhubarb in the freezer. I think I'll use some to make chutney. I want to learn to use rhubarb. Bee Lady says she thinks it's living your best life. I'm sorry, folks. I really don't know who the next one is. I'll find out next week. Spaghetti sauce has been frozen for a while. It tastes better. Okay. Rhubarb and ginger. Oh, my little piece. That sounds good. I like ginger. I used to love rhubarb. When I was a child, my grandmother made strawberry rhubarb pie and strawberry rhubarb jelly, and I love both. But I've never had rhubarb since I've been an adult. Stacy says pressure canners should be used in every home. We need to take control of our own food sources. And you're right, Stacy. I agree with you. I really do. It looks from everything here like most folks agree with you. Mary says you love rhubarb and you grew it and made pies and jams. Very good. Ate rhubarb raw when you were a child? I thought rhubarb raw was bad for you. I guess somebody told me something wrong. Bandana Grandma, her husband mowed her rhubarb down and a fig tree. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You'll have to put fences around things from now on, Bandana Grandma. Oh my, I would be very upset. Of course, people would have trouble running over my fig tree now. It's about 2.5 feet tall and it's got about 8 branches. Lisa, you've eaten tons of raw rhubarb. Well, I guess maybe it's not bad for you. That's good. Oh, it's the leaves that are bad. Okay, so you only eat the stalk. Huh. I learned something new today. Good. Roberta, I used to do a fair bit of canning, made a lot of jams in my day, but since I'm getting zany, that's why I now freeze a lot of things. Okay. Well, freezing works if you got enough room in your freezer. I ate the stalks, heard the leaves are poisonous. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Me Lady Kate is right. Just buy one and take a deep breath. You won't regret it. Ah, thank you. Thank you. I tell you what, I was afraid of it. And David is the one who taught me. He taught me to use a pressure cooker. He had one that his mom had used, and I was afraid to use it. But he showed me how, and I did it. And boy, I was hooked. I was hooked. Hello, Northern Ohio Homestead. I'm glad to see you here, but this is right at the end of the show. I have 2 minutes left. Then I found out, anyway, Dave taught me to use a pressure cooker. Then I found out about pressure canners, and I was hooked. B Lady says, I'm convinced all the raw stuff, etc., I ate as a child contributes to my health today. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You know, Kelton, I can't have an Instapot. I just can't make myself get one. I want to be more in charge. I want to set it and watch it and take care of it. Let's see, Howie says, have to pick figs, plums, and blackberries. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Howie. I'm really glad you came by. Let's see, best pot roast in the world comes from a pressure cooker. Yeah, I can't do it though. One day I'll learn. Can I can regular stuff like tomatoes in a pressure? Yes, B Lady, you can. The Anything can be canned in a pressure canner. The problem is sometimes it makes the stuff really mushy. Like I tried pressure canning pears this year and they just turned to mush in the bottle. So I'm going to put them all in a big pot and make more pear butter. But some of the things anything that's low acid should be done in a pressure canner. So let's see. 7 a.m. in the morning here, you're off. Oh, Casey, thanks again for coming in. I hope to see you again next time. Hello, Eyes to See. It's wonderful to see you while you're watching while canning beans. That's cool. So I can use a pressure canner without pressure. Um, if you're using it like a water bath canner, yes, but you have to pressure can things that are low acid. Like if you do meats or vegetables like carrots and things like that, you have to have the pressure. It doesn't work otherwise. We're talking about pears and figs. My fig tree that I have out in the yard, I drove past a friend's yard that had rented a new house. There was a fig tree in the yard. I talked her into letting me take a cutting, and I took it home, took it in water until it got roots and stuck it in the ground, and it's grown for 3 years now. So we'll see what happens. Well, folks, it is 2 o'clock. I really do appreciate you hanging in there for this rough start. I hope I'll see you back next week. Thank you again. I really appreciate all your friends and friendship and your support. You take care. Goodbye and God bless.